Hello and welcome to another episode of Going Topicless, the podcast with a low viewership because everyone would rather be out flipping cop cars. I am joined, as always, by my wonderful co-host Cameron, and oh boy, lots is going on. But let's start off with a little how do you do? How's life with you? What's going on? What's happening?
Yes, I would love to start off on a light note and end on a fucking angry one. I Things are fine, like in my personal life. Quarantine sucks, sure, because we're still fucking in quarantine. We're still not working for some reason. At least I'm not. Um, State is still shut down. As far as the rest of the world goes, I'm angry. I'm pissed, but we're gonna get to that later. I don't want to talk about that right now, because I don't want to spend a whole hour talking about it because I know that we could spend so many hours talking about it.
Absolutely.
But
So we'll gloss
no,
over that
things
for
are
now.
good. I want to start with some lighter notes. I do want to mention at the start of the stream that I have started streaming more frequently on Twitch. I
Oh,
still
right
don't have
on.
an official schedule, but due to this whole unemployment thing temporarily, I obviously have more time than I need to jerk off 17 times a day. So figured I'd spend the other, 23 and a half hours doing something else. Um, and so I have started streaming more frequently on Twitch. I
Awesome.
actually played through Super Hot, start to finish, in one
Damn.
stream.
How'd you enjoy that?
That game was fucking amazing.
Right.
Have you ever played it?
Yeah, I think I played it on stream a while back. I thoroughly
Oh
enjoyed
my
it.
god. That was, I mean, it was one of the funnest games like I've played in a very, very long time. Just it was innovative. I mean, it was so different.
Yeah.
There's literally no other game like it. And honestly, the story was pretty deep.
Oh yeah,
And
it took a twist halfway through that I was not prepared for.
mhm. Oh, no, it was a Black Mirror episode from start to finish. That's all I could think about the whole time that I was playing through that entire story on stream was just like this is an episode of Black Mirror that I think actually was damn near happened. I think there was an episode of Black Mirror where like the two like lifetime long best friends had gotten like the VR video games and then they like started boning in it. Like they started having sex in the video game. I don't know if you ever watched Black Mirror. If you haven't,
It
great series.
sounds very unique.
The premise of the show is each episode has a different like story and it kind of focuses on a piece of like technology or something in the future that like in like the near future that would people would think that the world would want or that we would like advance further, but
Right.
really it just shows that like the types of technology that is portrayed would ultimately just like fuck us up and ruin everything that we've worked towards as a human race kind of
Okay.
thing. Yeah,
Interesting.
fantastic show. It started as just a British television show for like the first I think two or three seasons, and then Netflix recently picked it up a couple of years ago, and they started developing it and made two
Interesting.
more seasons themselves. Um, each season is only like 3 or 4 episodes. They're very very small short seasons, but it's great television. If you've got Netflix and anybody that has never seen it, I highly recommend it. Super
Wonder if I could get
super
it
good
on
watch.
YouTube.
I bet you could probably get a couple episodes.
You can get like everything on YouTube.
hmm But yeah, played through Super Hot, all in one night. Game
There's
was
a VR
awesome.
version of that game too now.
Yeah, I had someone in my chat like the whole time that I was streaming it talking about the VR version. Um, so that was pretty cool. Shout out to Busta. I can't remember the other part of his name. I don't know. He hung out like all 4 hours of the stream.
Right on.
Um,
You got your first devoted follower.
um, what else? And other than that, I mean, I fired the stream up for a little bit to just like play some Call of Duty when I was playing with like my brother and stuff, but nothing serious. I did just pick up a game for $2 on Steam. It's called hold on, what's it called? Called Murdered Soul Suspect. It's like a murder mystery game,
Ooh.
and the premise of it is like you're a detective that gets shot in the line of duty, um, and like you're trying to solve your own murder as like a ghost.
Ooh, I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So that seems pretty cool. So I'm gonna play that on stream. Probably later this week, maybe, or next week. I haven't decided, but I did download it, and that'll be like the next game that I next single player game that I stream on Twitch.
Right
So,
on.
um, link to that will be in the description. It's twitch.tv/el_Gandhi. So you know, drop me a follow. Try and hit those 50 followers
Fuck
so I can
yeah.
get another step towards affiliation. But
Gotta
yeah,
get
man,
on
it's
that
been
grind.
fun. It's been fun to just. I mean, I'm gonna be playing video games anyways, so I figured, load up the stream. I kind of just like streaming single player games though. I don't really care to stream like multiplayer games all that much. 'Cause kind of when I'm streaming, I don't want to have to worry about anybody in a Discord chat or in an online gaming chat saying
Yeah.
vulgar things that I don't want them to say. So
Shit, that's probably gonna get you banned.
right. So you know how freaking Call of Duty lobbies are.
Oh,
They're
absolutely. Holy shit.
filled, yeah. I mean, you just have to like auto mute everyone. They're terrible. But also, I know our last episode was 2 months ago. That's terrible.
Time
Sorry.
flies. It really does.
However, I believe in that last episode we talked about Undertale,
Yeah. I
and
think
I
I had
said
finished it by then.
and I said that I was going to play Undertale before we did our next podcast. I had 2 months to do that. I did play it
Oh boy.
for about 30 minutes.
Oh?
Not for me.
Not for you. Oh well.
Not for me. Not for me. I understand it. Like I understand the love for the game.
Right.
I think that the gameplay like is there and it's definitely unique and different and captivating to the audience that that game has built, but it just wasn't for me. I'm also just not a huge puzzle kind of guy.
Right.
Um I mean, I get bored pretty easy from puzzles. That and I kept fucking falling through the goddamn floor at like one of the very first levels.
Oh yeah, there's one where you have to try and like find
You
your
have to
way.
navigate like the whole fucking room.
So I
And
I did that one. I because I played the whole game through on stream. I found out because I remember the part. I found out after the fact because you fall down and there's like a bunch of leaves, right? And there's a sign that says, "Hey, don't step on the leaves."
right.
I found out after I spent like 15 minutes in that room that the leaves indicate what floors you'll fall through. So if you have to memorize the path made in the leaves there, and then that's the path from the room above that you're supposed to take.
No fucking way.
Yeah, I never realized it either, and I'm fucking pissed.
So like in the floor that you fall into, there's like a path of leaves. Is that
Yeah,
what you're
there's
saying?
it's like
And like
it's like
that's the path that you need to follow upstairs?
yeah.
You're shitting me.
No, look it up.
Oh my goodness. Alright, maybe I'll go back and play it again. I seriously, I got so tilted, dude, because I got so close to like the end multiple times, and I just kept falling through, falling through. I was like, dude, what in
Yeah,
the actual fuck?
I feel the pain. When I played through it the second time, I was like, oh, I get it now. Yeah,
See, this is what I'm saying. I suck at puzzles.
dude, same. There's a number of like logic puzzles that I've played on stream, and I've just like I cannot figure them out for the life of me. And I'm like, am I stupid or are these actually difficult?
hmm Have you ever played Talos Principle before? I hear that's a really good puzzle game.
I've heard of it. Can't say I've played it though.
You could normally pick it up on a Steam sale in like $4 or $5 or something like that.
Oh, easy money.
Speaking of Steam sale, the Steam sale is going to be coming up here in. We're recording this on June 2nd. Yep. Sorry to put a timestamp on the video. It'll probably take Devin like 6 weeks to post this, but
True,
uh,
true.
but we Steam sale starts I think on June 26th. and lasts until like July 5th? Question
How
mark.
the fuck is it almost summertime? Like I could have
Because
sworn
we've
we
been
just
stuck
started in
inside.
March. Then March
So
was over, then
we've
it
been
was
stuck
April, now
inside.
April's over. Now we're in fucking June.
June, June 2nd. It's
Good
my
God.
grandmother's birthday,
Happy birthday, Grandma.
and I can't see her because I can't go to the nursing home because of COVID. So happy birthday, Grams. Hope you had a good day. But yeah, Undertale. Maybe I'll give it another shot. I played it one night though, and maybe I just need to stream it. Maybe that'll get me through it. I mean, that's kind of what like got me to play Super Hot finally. I had that game for years before I even loaded it up. So maybe I just need to stream it.
That's kind of been
Give me
my
something.
excuse for playing a lot of games that I don't
Yeah,
normally play.
right, right. Yeah, so maybe I'll give it another go. And if I do, then it'll be live. I'll do it live like fucking Bill O'Reilly. Fuck Bill O'Reilly.
My
Um,
Steam wishlist is surprisingly small this year. I've only got 4 games on it. 2 of them aren't even released yet.
oh, I have so many games on my Steam wish list. I just go through and I add like all sorts of stuff, and whenever a sale comes by, I just kind of scroll through it. But you know, I just don't clear the games off of it. The there are a couple games that I'm looking to pick up come the Steam summer sale. So some new content on stream. There is that one game, I think it's called like Trover Saves the Universe. It's created by the same people that make Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah, I really want that.
It's on sale. It's on sale right now on Steam
Is
for
that a
like
VR game?
40% off. There is a VR available game. Yeah, it's VR supported. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
in the same copy. I don't know what that means. Like if that's
So it
yeah, I
means
don't,
like you just have to pick up one copy, then you can play it
yeah.
either
Well,
or.
so how the game is actually like works. It's really interesting. And I didn't know this until like the second or third time that I had looked at the store page to go and buy it. So you actually control, like you don't control the character from like a third person view or a first person view. You actually control the character from, I'm gonna call it like a fourth person view. Like your actual character that you are controlling is like in this like hovercraft thing, like above and beyond behind this like the character that character is controlling.
Hmm.
How bad did I just fuck your brain up?
I am beyond confused.
Okay. So you have to like so you like the it's so hard to explain without just like having a picture. So um the main protagonist in the game is being controlled by you, but you are like sitting in like this hovercraft thing over the main protagonist,
Right.
controlling the main protagonist.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. And so that's kind of like turned me off on it. I've also seen a lot of reports that um like the full price of the game I think is like $25, but the content available is like sub 10 hours.
Oh wow.
So like I don't know. That seems a little pricey for me. So I'm trying to see. It's on sale right now for like 40% off. If it's on sale again come the Steam sale, then I'll probably pick it up for then because I really wanted to play it. Everybody or all the reviews and videos and stuff that I've watched about it just say that it's like one of the funniest games they've ever played. And I love Rick and Morty. I think that show's fucking
Oh
hilarious
fuck
and
yeah.
those writers are genius.
I
But
just I just watched the last episode of season 4 yesterday.
I know I'm catching up. I actually haven't watched since like season 2. And I am like watching season 3 right now.
Right. I think
So
I won't spoil anything, but I think like season 3 kind of dips in quality. It
okay,
kind of gets worse as the season goes on, but then season 4 it Like it really picks up the pace. And the last episode, last like few episodes, pretty much the last half of the season, fucking beautiful.
Just gold. Yeah. All right, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
Um, aside from playing Super Hot, playing Undertale for a little bit of time, I've been playing a lot, a lot of Grand Theft Auto 5 online lately,
Oh yeah.
which I love Grand Theft Auto 5. I love the single player in that game. I've played it probably 6 times. Um, but I've gotten into the online lately because
Hmm.
the game just went free to play on Epic, or well, not
Oh yeah,
anymore,
I
but it
saw
was for
that.
a short time. So you know, my brother and uh some of my friends, they picked it up. We've been playing that game online. Been a lot of fun. Even for a game that's 7 years old, it's still a lot of fun. I haven't really tried anything else out. Nothing new,
Hmm. What
but I don't know.
games have I played? Oh, I
You just
was
played some Psychonauts.
yeah, I played Psychonauts, thoroughly enjoyed the story of that. I think like the camera movements are a bit outdated and finicky,
Oh yeah, 100%.
but
That was I mean, that's your standard, 3D platformer from
basically.
2002, man.
But I'm really looking forward to Psychonauts 2. That's why I played the first one in the first place.
Oh, they're making a second one. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it's coming out this year, late this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Coming out on Steam or Epic?
Um, I do not know the specifics of that. Psychonauts 2.
Oh yeah, here it is. Psychonauts on 2. It says release for 2020.
Yeah.
Man, maybe I'll go back and replay the first one. I haven't played the first one since I was a kid. I mean, probably freaking 15 years ago. Yeah. Oh man, what Psychonauts reminds me of, it was an old PS2 game, I think it was, and I want to say it was called like Blinks or something like that. And I'm pretty sure trying to remember. The premise of it was like you were like a hamster or something. Um, and you had to like, oh my God, what was this game called? Yeah, was this? Yeah, Blinks. Oh, it was an Xbox. It was an Xbox original game. It was
Hmm.
called Blinks the Time Sweeper. Hang on, I gotta get the frickin'. I am just losing all thought right now. Here we go. Platform game developed by Artoon and published by Microsoft Games, released in 2002. Um, it was very similar. I think it was like a competitor to Psychonauts. Like,
Okay.
I mean, the gameplay
Same
was so
premise?
similar. Um, don't, dude. I vaguely remember this game. I just remember like specific boss battles from this game, and the big thing was like collecting these like gemstones of some kind
Right.
of Zelda-esque. But like the gemstones weren't so much for like purchasing things. It was more about like leveling up.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Dude, just old games, man, that I played 20
Nostalgia.
years ago
The
that I just don't
nostalgia's kicking
remember.
in.
I just don't remember. But I remember I used to play the shit out of that game.
I think like the
And
two
yeah.
PS2 games I played the most, GTA San Andreas,
Mhm.
and then there was a game called Motor Mayhem. It was like the first one that I ever got on the PlayStation 2. It's like you drive around in cars and like you can drive throughout these little arenas and pick up weapons and then use them to attack your opponents who are also in cars with weapons. It was an interesting thing, and I remember playing the shit out of it when I was a kid.
Right on. Never heard of that. But yeah, I played the hell out of San Andreas. Man, I think I'm gonna go back and stream that game.
That's another one
That
I
sounds
streamed.
fun.
Quite enjoyed it.
I kind of want to go back and play like all of them, kind of in order. Like
Oh yeah.
3 Vice City, San Andreas. I could probably skip 4. I don't care for 4.
I don't think anyone does. I
The
enjoy it for
world
the
the
silly
world
mods that it
motion
has.
blur was so terrible in that game. The amount of motion blur, I mean, it was nauseating. So bad, but it is what it is. Uh, any games on your radar? Anything new coming out?
Um,
Cause I got one.
Nothing I've been really keeping an eye on. I've heard that The Last of
You
Us
gonna pick
2
up The
was
Last of Us
delayed,
2?
and
It was?
The Last of Us 2 was delayed, I heard. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that it was coming out like in like a week.
It was supposed
Maybe
to.
not.
They've pushed it
Oh,
back to later this year. Same with fucking Cyberpunk 2077. They've delayed that one too. Pushed it back to
hmm,
later this year.
hmm,
But those are like the only two games that I've been kind of keeping an eye on.
right. Hmm. Well, on I think it's June 26th, uh, the greatest and most necessary remaster of our lifetimes is hitting Steam, and that is SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom.
Oh my goodness.
You better bet your ass I'm buying this on freaking release day, and I will be streaming it on release day. I might beat this game in one day. I don't know. I am so excited. I probably played through this game a dozen times when I was a kid because it was one of like 6 games that I had. I mean, one of the best like platformer 3D combat fucking RPG element goddamn perfection of a video game this is. If they butcher this remaster and just like make it worse than what it was, I am going to be so sad because I have such high hopes for this remaster. And I just know I'm going to be disappointed, but I don't even care because I just want to be cruising around Bikini Bottom, killing robots, and taking down plankton.
Sounds good. If it's good, then I might get it myself. Try it out.
Oh, I'll let you know.
Right on. I'll hold you to it.
Yep, yep, for sure. Um, that's pretty much it though, as far as I mean, I haven't been doing anything. I've been playing a lot of video games because I'm still just stuck in the house. So,
Dude, same.
uh, do you have a fucking like estimated time of when you can go back to the rails?
No. Oh yeah, this will be news to the podcast listeners, our two whole podcast listeners. Because I'm pretty sure I was still working when we did our last episode.
It was like you were right on the cuffs. You were like getting cut on hours, kind of thing. I'm pretty sure.
Right. Yeah, they were cutting all sorts of jobs, and
Hmm.
I kind of knew it would happen. It was sort of inevitable because, well, for
Right,
starters, it's a very small terminal. There's not a whole lot to do, and when you've
right,
got like fucking 30 guys all split among what, 4 or 5 different jobs,
right.
layoffs are pretty much guaranteed. So
Yeah.
I've been off for like I think a month now.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's pretty much when I was like, fuck it, I'm doing nothing else. I'm gonna commit to a proper stream schedule. So
Yeah.
Monday to
So what?
Thursday, starting at noon PST. That's kind of where you can find me on the Twitch.
I don't know. That's 3 p.m. Eastern for any East Coasters like me.
And if you live anywhere other than North America, then you're shit out of luck, I'm afraid.
Figure it out. I think UK is 6 hours ahead of me, so 9 p.m.
Something like that. I got no idea.
Yeah, I want to say that GMT is like 6 hours ahead of Eastern time.
I think it's like early in the morning for Australia because I know I've got a couple Australian viewers that pop in once in a while.
Hmm. Jeez. Yeah, I have no idea. Times of the world, man. Speaking of times of the world, what the fuck is going on in my country right now?
Dude, I don't even know. I think. Okay, well, what I know is that a black man by the name of George Floyd
Was
was
murdered.
murdered
Was
by a
murdered.
police officer, and
Murdered. As three stood around and watched this
yeah,
man die. What the fuck, dude?
and I'm pretty sure you can find video of it circulating the internet. I don't know from who or what. It might have been like a, I don't know if it was a
Oh
bystander
yeah,
or a body cam.
oh, it was a bystander,
Okay.
but just so sad. And I mean, I first want to extend, my condolences to the Floyd family. I know that he leaves behind I believe he had a 6-year-old daughter.
Hmm.
Don't quote me on the age, but I believe I know he had a young daughter. Um, and she is gonna grow up without a father now, and that's
That's tough.
sickening. Um, she doesn't deserve to have to live her life like that, and uh, the fact that it was at the hands of somebody that swore an oath to protect and serve their community is disgusting to me. Um, I- I'm gonna get real ranty here in a second, so anybody that doesn't want to listen to that, go ahead and just flip off because I've been very angry. I've been very sad the last few days, and I'm tired of the divisiveness that the state has allowed amongst us as people. As all of this is happening, we continue to talk about things such as black versus white or rich versus poor. And what so many people are failing to realize is that the battle that needs to, or the conversation that needs to be had is the people versus the state, the people versus the government,
Hmm.
the the 99.9% versus the 0.01%. In the United States, there's, a thousand people in total that are, governmental heads. You got, 450 people in the House of Representatives. You got 100 people in the frickin' Senate. You've got one president and one vice president. You've got a dozen cabinet members. You've got, you know, mayors in every city, but those dudes are just following orders from the senators and governors anyways. However, there's 315 million Americans.
It's quite the difference.
However, we've allowed the governments to create these forces of militarized forces that that are here to silence the people. We're we're allowing the government to continue to have this overwhelming sense of power and authority over us. And I'm tired of seeing people on social media posting about how the the protesting and the rioting, the destruction that's occurring. I'll stand here and I will say that I don't believe that we should be burning our communities.
No.
We don't need to be burning down small businesses, large businesses. We don't need to be destroying our homes, our neighbors' homes. We don't need to be destroying churches. These are places of refuge. These are places of you know of meeting and places that we can come together as the people. We we don't need to be destroying our homes. We don't need to be destroying our communities. We need to be rising up though against the state that believes that they have so much power over us that they're taking away our liberties and freedoms. And telling us that we have a sense of security because of it. How many freedoms and how many freedoms and liberties do we have to give up before, you know, just to feel safe? Is that what people want? They think that, we need all of these laws and we need all of this restriction because people want to feel safe, but all they're really doing is they're taking control over all of us, but at the same time they just want us as the people to think that it's we're fighting each other, that it was a white cop that killed him, so all white people are racist. It was a white cop that shot somebody, so it's the white people's fault. And I'm not saying that white people aren't racist. Hell yeah, there's so many racist white people, so many racist black people. Racism exists in all forms. It doesn't stop at the color of one's skin. But this is exactly what the government and the state wants us to do. They want us to continue fighting each other because as long as we're fighting each other, we're not rising up against them. And as long as we're not rising up against them, we continue to give them the power that they want, and we're never going to see the change that we deserve. We're going to continue to battle the same fight that our ancestors have been fighting, that the black community has been fighting for hundreds of years. And I think the big thing that so many people in the United States today in 2020 fail to forget is that the Civil Rights Act took place in 1965. 1965. That was 55 years ago. 55 years ago, things like Jim Crow laws still existed. 55 years ago, there was still a differentiation between a white water fountain and a black water fountain. 55 years ago, schools were still pretty segregated. Black communities were suffering due to tax funding, government funding for their schools, for their communities. 55 years ago. That wasn't 200 years ago or 300 years ago. 55 years ago, our grandparents were alive.
Some still are.
Absolutely. 55 years ago, the current president of the United States was alive. Every member in Congress, not every, but a large majority of Congress members were alive 55 years ago, as all of these things were occurring within the United States. And that's sickening to think about. It's sickening to think that even after almost 6 decades, we still have not really made any change on our home soil. We continue to suppress the voices of the people. And at what cost? The securities from the state? Stop giving up your liberties and freedoms for security. And stop fighting your neighbor. Your neighbors are not the threat. As neighbors, as the people, we need to rise together. Love thy neighbor. And I'm not a religious man. I know where that saying comes from. But that's a statement that can hold true in any circumstance. Learn about the people around you. Learn about other cultures. Learn about their upbringings. Learn about their societies. Everyone's different. And I think the biggest thing that has frustrated me throughout all of this is the amount of white individuals that I've heard, say something along the lines of, well, I didn't have an easy upbringing. I didn't have an easy childhood. Okay, we're not talking about you. Nothing that you're saying is wrong. Absolutely. There's poverty in every single culture and society, every civilization even. Poverty in the United States looks a little different than poverty in, say, India or, another country, Mexico and South America countries, but poverty in the United States hits hard. And yes, white folks do grow up impoverished. However, not just are you impoverished, but being white, you haven't been held back by the color of your skin. You never had to have the conversation with your mother or father about, you know, keeping your nose clean and turning away from the police if one of them starts coming near you, or if you're walking down the street at night, or if you're carrying a backpack into a Walmart. You never had to get the weird stares. It's not about how hard it is for you as a white person. And I'm not gonna, preach about how white privilege is a thing. Personally, I believe it is, at least to some degree. But it's the simple fact of being a white man, I haven't had to worry about that. And no, I will never understand the struggles of a black individual. But I want to stand with them. I want to understand to the best of my abilities how I can be an ally in the fight to freedom. Because we as Americans have been fighting for our freedom since 1775. And I'm tired of people calling these activists, these protesters, these world changers criminals because they're not peacefully protesting anymore. They've tried that. We've peacefully protested. Any athlete that has tried to peacefully protest has been shunned, has been to shut up and dribble the basketball. Anybody with a voice that isn't directly related to politics, but anybody with a platform that tries to speak out on the issue is told to shut up and focus on their sport, or shut up and focus on writing music or acting in movies, as if it's not their life that they are talking about. But the media wants to silence the people. The government wants to silence the people because they are afraid, and they know that if the masses united, then they would be nothing. 315 million people live in the United States. 315 million. Yet we continue to let 0.01% control us and let them divide us as people. Why? Why are we letting these people tell us what we should be angry at? What we should be fighting against is them. They don't want us to love each other. Because if we did love each other and we all realized that we should hate them, they would be scared. But they know that they have the power. And they're not terrified one bit. But I am angry. I am angry at the government's response to these protests. Because all they want to do is silence the people. They the protests started out peaceful. And yeah, some have turned violent. People are pissed. And people aren't being heard when they're peaceful. So they're gonna make a fucking statement. But how long does it go on? Now these protests have been stopped due to mandatory curfews. Anybody out past curfew is subject to arrest. I've seen several videos of people standing, just standing there, getting shot with rubber bullets, bean bags, being beaten down by riot shielding police. It's sickening. It is our First Amendment right to be out on those streets and to protest whatever the fuck we want to. And as long as the government and as long as the police are trying to stop that, they are violating our constitutional right. And I'm not saying that it's time to rise up and create this anarchist state, but it's time to rise up against something. It's time to band together. We as the people need to be one. We are one nation under God. And like I said, I'm not a religious person, but that's just the fucking saying. We're one nation. Stop dividing us into subsectors and fight together. Our enemy is not each other. Our enemy is the state. And the state knows that. And the state wants to continue to have the power over the people. And I think it's enough. Fucking sick of it. I'm sick of it. And I'm sad. And I want to see change like everyone else. And I think that the response to these protests, the response to the murder of George Floyd, the response to those officers' arrests, actually, the one officer is the only one that's been arrested. The other three officers standing on the scene still haven't had any charges on him. It took 4 days for that officer to be arrested on any charges. 4 days. It doesn't take a professional prosecutor to watch that video and tell everyone in a courtroom that that is murder. The man was in handcuffs on the ground. Get the fuck off of him. Sick. It's heartbreaking. And now that little girl has to be raised without her father around. So yeah, people are gonna burn some shit down. And people are pissed. People are gonna be pissed. Until there's some justice for the fucking outright brutality that so many police officers believe that they have the authority and power to have over American citizens. There needs to be some change. And we have to be the change that we want to see in the world. We have to fight for that change as the people. The government doesn't want the change. If the government wanted the change, then we would change. The government doesn't want us to fight. The government doesn't want us to change. They want us to fight each other. They are the threat. And the sooner that everybody realizes that, and the sooner that everybody stops fighting this black versus white, this rich versus poor, the suburbs versus the ghettos, stop it. That's not the threat. Yeah, maybe, or yes, obviously there are fucking shitty people in every sector of the world. But I'm telling you that the biggest threat right now is the state. The state is who the uprisings need to be against, not each other. Stop fighting your neighbor. Love them. Ally with them. Create allegiances to see that change through. MLK didn't walk down those streets alone. He rallied the people. The people had to come together to see that change through. And we still haven't seen enough. Just, I'm fucking angry, man. I'm, I'm just sad as to where we're at right now. Where we're at as human beings. I don't know. I mean, I know like you're not really seeing it right now, being up in Canada.
We have had a few protests. There's been
Really.
a few in Vancouver here in support of everything going on down in the states. But so far, yeah, it's been relatively quiet here. But I've been watching closely on the news, and I've seen I don't know if you've seen, but I've retweeted a few like media clips, and it is absolutely abhorred some of the shit that
Trust
the
me.
police have done, even post the George Floyd thing, to
Right.
protesters.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Fucking,
It's
there
been
was one news
disgusting.
reporter on live TV being shot at with little pepper bullets
Hmm.
on live TV.
I
She's just
saw.
doing her job, man.
I
She's just
saw a
doing her job,
picture.
and you're fucking shooting at her. And then
I saw a
there's
picture of a teenage girl get hit with a rubber bullet in the face.
yeah, there've
A
been
teenage girl. She was maybe 15 years old.
fucking
A
people
15
gotten
a 15-year-old little girl is a threat to you as a police officer? A
yeah,
threat enough to where you need to shoot some rubber bullets at her and hit her in the face?
it's fucking sick.
A 15-year-old little girl. You're a coward, whoever shot that.
A disgrace to the badge. And fucking I've seen there's a fellow on Twitter that I encountered who lost his eye.
Hmm.
Who lost his eye because when he was shot in the face with rubber bullets. Those bullets may not be deadly, but they fucking hurt.
They're ginormous. They're like the size of a golf ball, some of them are.
Yeah,
They shoot them out of like mini fucking cannons. Like little hand cannons. They're fucking huge.
I saw as well. There was a clip
It's
in
sick.
New York City where fucking two police cruisers drove into a crowd of protesters. It's fucking it's bullshit. It really is.
You see shit like that and it makes me think. It's like who's the real criminal, you know?
Yeah.
The one that's the one that's burning down the Walmart or the one that's fucking just assaulting their own people? The ones that are just standing around. The ones that are just screaming and hollering. And the police, that are attacking these people just have no self-control over themselves.
Hmm.
They're so short-tempered that they feel the need to defend themselves against teenage girls and fucking white dudes with man buns.
Another case. I can't remember the guy's name, but a black man who ran a barbecue joint was shot
Hmm.
and killed during the protests. Who ironically would often feed the police officers for free.
Yep, I'm sure. That's sick, man.
Yeah.
And it's our First Amendment right to assemble and to protest and to fight the tyrannical government. That's what so many people fail to remember is that in 1775, when the uprising began, before we signed the Declaration of Independence in 1776, people were pissed. Revolutionists were pissed. They were sick of the English monarch taxing us, telling us how to live our lives, taking our homes away from us, making our men fight in wars that don't benefit themselves. So what did we do? We fucking picked up our rifles and we shot back. And I don't want to see any bloodshed. I don't. I'm tired of this senseless killing. Tired of it. And honestly, if people were to start shooting back, we're just no better than the police at that point.
Hmm.
But just take care of yourselves, people. Everybody out protesting right now, stay safe. If shit starts to get dicey, get the fuck out of there. But stand for something. support something. I want to see change in this world as much as everyone else. But we're not going to see that change unless we change it ourselves. And I just hope that one day in my lifetime, we can actually see that real change. "55 years ago."
As dismal as things may seem, especially with all the harassment and shit going around, I'd like to point out that there are some good ones out there as well. There's I can't remember which state it was, but there was a sheriff who was walking with the people. You can find the media clip online. He's like, "I'm standing with you. Whatever you want, I'll do it." And he walked with the protesters. It's it can be hard to see the good things, especially because that's all the news fucking covers is, the people being beaten down and torching places and looting Walmarts and shit, but there are some good people out there,
Oh
and they
yeah.
want change as much as you do. They're sickened by the death of George Floyd just as much as you are. And what do they do? They banned, just as you were saying, Gunny, they banned with the protesters. That's where the strength comes from. One individual can't change the world, but together you can change everything. I think that's a pretty good note to wrap up on. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good spot.
Once again, as always, thank you for listening to this rant-filled episode. I think you went on for like 20 minutes. That must be a record or something.
I don't know, man. I think I've probably gotten drunk before and just fucking wouldn't shut up. So I bet somebody could find a clip of that. And
There was that four hour episode that we won't talk about.
that one's not even on this page, man. That one does not exist anymore. I don't think. Oh wait, yeah, it does.
Oh,
It's
jeez.
right here, episode 5. That was the first one I was on. That was before it became me and you.
Hmm.
4 hours was ridiculous.
Oh yeah, way too long. Right. Thank you for listening. Uh, do all the like and subscribe and stuff if you enjoyed listening to this episode. Uh, Tons of
Yeah,
links
anybody?
down below to streams and social media and
Yes,
all that stuff. Check us out.
absolutely. Come check out the stream. Hit a follow on Twitch for me. I'd really appreciate it. I'm I'm
Absolutely.
I'm like I'm like a fourth of the way to 50 followers. And I got
Get
a
this man as affiliate.
I have a designated Twitter account too. That link will be in the description as well.
Right on.
So check it out. Hit me a follow over there and at Twitch. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for listening, guys. I know I went on a rant, man. I'm fucking angry, and I think everybody else should be. And I just I just want the world to change for the better.
Absolutely. And with that, I shall bid you all adieu. Stay safe. Live life happy, prosperous. Love thy neighbor. And fuck the state. Have a good night.